Father, if you love us like you say you do, then why do you turn your back on us? In the Masses that I've been streaming during the social distancing and the suspension of public Masses, you'll notice that I've been offering the Mass not facing the camera, not facing you, you might say. Why do I stand at the altar in that way? Now, if you've been listening to the Masses and praying along at home, you might have heard me mention how I stand at the altar in that way, not facing the camera, not facing you. But I'd like to talk about it in a little more depth here in this video, because this is an ancient posture in the church, and there's a beautiful spirituality behind it, even though it's very rare and not the norm, maybe not what we're used to seeing, and maybe even causes some concern and frustration for some people who see a Mass offered in this way. Now, when Father offers the Mass, in the way the Mass is said now, it's actually an open question as to which way Father should face. It doesn't necessarily assume that Father is facing towards you as he's offering prayers at the altar, maybe the posture that most of you are most used to seeing. There's no explicit requirement of that in the instructions. There's a book called the General Instruction of the Roman Missal. It does say that altars should be constructed in such a fashion as to allow Mass to be offered in this way, but it doesn't demand Mass be offered with Father facing towards you from the altar, as the Eucharistic prayer especially is said. So the other posture where Father isn't facing you is traditionally called ad orientem. Ad orientem, just a Latin word that means to the east. The idea of facing towards the east, and it is a symbolic posture. Now, we all know the Mass itself is rich with various symbols and things used to evoke larger realities, things unseen. There's things we can see in the Mass, there's things we can discern, but there's things beyond that as well. And of course, the Eucharist itself, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord, is a prime example of that. We see bread and wine, nourishment, levity, celebration, libation in the sense of an offering given that can't be given back. But the bread and wine, of course, become so much more. They are no longer bread and wine, but they are the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord. So it goes beyond what we can see. And this posture at Mass is another example of that. When Father faces the east, when maybe some people think he has his back turned on you, it's not that he's turning his back on you, rather he's physically expressing the heart in some ways of the prayer of the Mass. That in the Mass, the priest approaches God to offer to God Jesus Christ. I love actually thinking about a prayer from the Divine Mercy Chaplet in this way. It goes, and this is the prayer said 5 times during the Divine Mercy Chaplet. Eternal Father, I offer to you the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord